What's up, guys? I'm back here with the beginning of this update. So I'm just gonna do some tidying up on this. I got new header bolts gonna go on there. I got the new fuel pump in, so I'm gonna take this one off, pull that rod out, and put a block off plate on there. And I might move the tranny crossmember forward and maybe get the tranny fittings installed. Other than that, if I do anything else, I guess you guys will see it. So Alright guys, got a little more work done. Trans fittings are in, just barb fittings for normal line. Ended up moving and drilling the cross member forward. Used to sit there, now it's there, so the cross member sits on the tail shaft housing, drilled holes in the bottom. Stick the bolts through, same with that side, moved it forward. Yoke's on, welded a bolt in there. It's a little more slide than I'd like, but I don't think, like, if this is a powerhouse engine, I feel like I'd be more worried about it, but it's equal amounts of square tube per round tube, so I think it'll be alright. So got that bolted up, yokes siliconed on there, got motor mount bolts tight, block off plate on, made my own vacuum plug for that one because I didn't have the correct one. That's where water temp will go, and then plug that other hole off. Was going to put power steering on, and then notice that this is the wrong gear metric for what that pump came out of. So it's got the wrong style fittings in the pump itself as well as the line. So I need to figure out a different power steering pump or change the steering box. I'm not sure yet. And then if you guys noticed, I cut the transmission bracket off of the cross member so it wouldn't hit the pan. New header bolts were put in, got the new carb gasket on, and then put the air cleaner on. So I'm going to try and get out here tomorrow, and ideally my goal is to have the body set on this car tomorrow. So that means body spacers all done the whole way, and I need to get down bars on. So I need to get the body over here and figure out how far back from that body bolt I could go with my frontmost down bar, and then the back down bar will sit 2 inches in forward of that body bolt, so right in here. And I think this thing's pretty much done underneath. I wanted to get a bunch of the engine stuff done. Oh, and I hooked the converter up. I needed a 3/8 washer for a shim because it would have pulled it too far out of the converter. But I wanted to get a bunch of this engine stuff done and try to get the slider on before I start doing the body stuff, just so it's out of the way, I guess. But yeah, that's it for tonight. So I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, I'm back. It's the next day here. So plans for now is going to be getting the front 4 body mounts made. I'm going to make them 2 inches tall because that's the max height we're allowed with the curve of the frame. Help the body sit on there better. And then I'm going to go outside and measure from the center of this body bolt back to the inner door seam to see how far back I have to weld my down bar to be within the inner door seam. So, and then after I get those front 2 down bars on, I'll put the back down bar on and then get the body ready to get bolted on, set on, I guess. So I'll probably run outside and check the distance back, mark it all out, and then I'll get down bar material ready and start doing that. So alright guys, I think I'm going to start by removing the brake booster and then the factory steering column out of this car. Passenger door bar will end up getting the driver's side door bar stacked onto it, probably below it. Dash bar, I'll probably reuse it, but I might end up removing it from where it's at now. And then I need to cut the seat bar out and tank protector stuff because that's all going to get changed. So I'm going to start on that, and I'll just keep updating you guys as I go. Alright guys, as you see, my brother helped me get these down bars welded on. I tacked the front 4 body spacers. I had to kind of notch them out so they'd sit flatter because of the angle. So back down bars are bigger because we are allowed to run our halo down to the frame. So this is technically a halo down bar. So we space that 2 inches forward from the back seat body mount, and then these front 2, I normally put this front one as far forward as I can, and then that one wherever it feels right, and that's right on the top of the frame bend. I'm gonna run factory body rubbers on the back. Back 4 body bolts will be factory just because I'm gonna fold it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I got the driver's door bar cut out, seat bar cut out. The driver's door bar will sit underneath the passenger side door bar. The front might come up a little bit, I think. I'm not entirely sure. And then I'm going to end up cutting this dash bar out. I'm just going to wait. And then I'll move the dash bar down a little bit. Maybe use some thicker square tubing to space it up off the top. And then guess it some more. Since I'm running an aftermarket steering column, it shouldn't get in the way. And I think eventually we might tip it over so I can cut the down bar holes and then the body holes for the body bolts. That actually might be what's up next. So I guess I'm just gonna keep on working and see how far I can get tonight. Alright guys, so as you see I got the body bolt holes cut out, and where I marked the down bars, I normally just measure off the front bolt back to the first one and then measure back. So now I guess we'll try and get this set on. So alright guys, got the body set on here. I had to do a little more trimming around the down bars. The back ones are a little bit further back because they're angled up, and then I had to trim out some of the door over there. But looks like I'm gonna have to cut this front one down a little bit to fit the second door bar in there. and then add some to that. That's pretty close there, but got the body set on. Front clip needs a lot of work, but Alright guys, so as you see, got the the driver's door bar stacked. So I'm allowed to do this. If you read these rules, it says that you cannot double your passenger door bar. You can your driver's door bar, but this falls within the 6x6 maximum cage sizing. That's why I'm allowed to do it. So that'll get welded completely front and back, or front and the two sides. And then I'll tie that down bar in better. These center two down bars need to be, the gap needs to be taken up in it, which before I do those, I think I'm going to put a jack on the frame and put pressure up to hold the side rails up a little more. That door bar ends up being 1 inch taller than this side, so I notched the pipe out to fit that, which there are going to be a bunch of gussets and stuff. And this side got changed to 3x4. Notched it out a little bit so it'll fit. But I notched this out a little bit up there. I don't know if you guys seen that, but now it touches completely, which I'll encase it in, and then I think the seat bar will sit somewhere in here. I gotta get the seat. It's a P71 Crown Vic seat I'm gonna get out to mock this up before I put the seat bar in, which seat bar will be this 3x4. It looks like it'll be long enough. Yeah, so tomorrow when I get here, I'll finish weld the cage and then do the seat bar. Well, finish weld what I got of the cage, do the seat bar, and then probably start on the tank protector. And then, so I decided to go from running a cable shifter to doing a push-pull, because then you don't have to deal with cable stretch and lining it up and all that stuff. So I still have to build that, and I'm waiting on the pedals yet, but I'll be able to get this pretty far yet. So got all the body bolts in, they're all tight. And when I get a stopping point on the interior stuff, I'm gonna have to do some work on this clip here because it's pretty sad. Especially the fender, it's like barely attached. I think this is the only point of attachment for the fender right now. But so that's it for tonight. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end the video off there. So, got some gussets put in, welded to the door, got the spacer piece put in the center down bars, seat bars in, leveled up, down bars are welded. I still got to do a little bit of gap filling on that bar to come up here somehow. I don't know how I want to do that yet, but I want to connect it a little bit more. Tank protector's in, has a little bit of pressure. I think the sheet metal's tight to the package tray now. How to do some hammering. Angled it down so I could go into the package tray. And then I still got to do uprights. I think I'll do uprights and just angled forward. And I got to do a lot of gusseting since this isn't getting a center bar. Well, center bar wouldn't help that much, but I want to do a lot of gussets so the cage can't shift side to side. So I'm probably gonna go home, get this edited and uploaded so you guys got something to watch. And then not sure how much I'll be able to do to this next weekend, but I'm sure the following weekend I'll be able to get a bunch of progress on it. So alright, I guess that'll be it for today's video. So please like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see more of. Thanks.